Hello everybody, thanks for watching this video. This is the Flume Trail video. I've wanted to record this trail for a long time and had pretty good conditions on the 20th, so I brought the camera along and then I missed part of it on that day, so I brought it back on the 27th to catch the escape trail or the bailout. And so that's why you've got two different days here, but conditions are pretty good. It's a very unique trail, pretty flat because it follows an old flume, and it's just a lot of fun to hit every so often. There are a couple of ways to get over the hill, or else go around it on the flume, and so we try to hit it, you know, every other time or maybe a little less, but it's fun. We've been doing it for a long time. I'll never forget the first time that I went to Georgetown. I ended up on this Flume Trail. It was with some guys that were running out of gas, and I had a GPS, so I knew which direction the truck was in, and the Flume Trail was pointed directly there. And so we headed out there, and then not before too long, the trail looped around and went the opposite direction where we want to go. And so we were kind of lost again. This is a map of the area, and you can see, if you're familiar with the area at all, I've got deep water circled on the bottom left. I've got 5 corners circled on the top right. The area that we're riding, or that's in this video, is the yellowed out area. And you'll notice that I kind of cut it off. We start at the bottom left, and then we kind of go up and then up and around. And then we don't finish the trail. We do what's called the bailout, and it's actually not on the map. It cuts through onto the fire road. So that's the bailout intersection. And so that should help you. This is the entrance. It is Trail 14. It is for motorcycles only. You can see there, and they do rank it as most difficult. I don't think that's probably true anymore because they did kind of clean up the area. That trail to the right will take you up to what we call Rock Garden, and it's one of the more challenging climbs out of there, so we hit that probably most of the time, but that's kind of the intersection. And so there's a couple of ways to get here, but generally speaking, this is a very flat trail, and it's got a pretty good rhythm to it. There are a couple of sections where you really do have to watch your handlebars and your feet, because it's a pretty tight notch sometimes, but it's pretty cool. Like it a lot. So I'll just let you watch for a while, and I'll pop in here every so often when I see something interesting to explain. So this little puddle right here, I think this is the one, at this time of year, it gets to be smelling really sulfury. And I think it's a sulfur spring that's in that area. This place, we've had a lot of rain this year, and so these areas just kind of get drenched, and I think that sulfur pool gets fed from a spring because it stays wet the longest. And you have to dive through these manzanita, and they do kind of hang over the trail, so you really got to kind of watch it, especially if you have a camera hanging on the side of your helmet. One of the things that I do want to apologize for is this camera angle isn't my favorite. So in my future videos, I'm gonna make an attempt to mount this camera under my visor, so you don't have to sit there and stare. That little rock right here we used to call Goat Mountain, or Goat Rock, not Goat Mountain, Goat Rock, because you know, we used to go over it instead of through the channel, but somebody kind of chopped that channel out and made it wider, so it's a little quicker to just go straight through it. But anyway, back to the camera thing. I think under the visor is a better deal. I've ordered a new mount, and I'll work on it this week. And next week we're going to be participating in the family enduro up here, and And I'm going to try to rig it so my battery doesn't die, and see if I can film most of that. So I'll probably put something out on that with hopefully a better camera angle. This is one section of the Flume Trail that appears to leave the flume surface, because there is just a little climb up and over, and then you end up kind of back on the flume surface again. Do you guys see that deer? I don't think I saw it when I was riding, but yeah, deer ran across the front of me, you know, maybe 25, 30 yards in front of me. There's a lot of wildlife out here. I have seen bears out here too. So this is the beginning of the area where you got to kind of watch your toes and your hands as you're winding through these rocks. They clearly just made the flume out of existing rock and just kind of cut it out. So that's the trail. And some of these channels are pretty narrow, and the bike just barely fits in there. But you kind of get a rhythm and kind of go through it, and just keep the front wheel real active, and don't be afraid to turn it, because you can end up with your boot caught up on something. I always ride this area with the balls of my feet right on the pegs instead of letting them hang out, because if you snag a rock with your toe and you're sitting with the peg in the middle of your foot, then you can easily break your foot, you know, catch it and tuck it under, which is not good. So we're approaching the bailout trail to the right, and if you go straight, it used to be extremely hazardous. There was a spot maybe 50 yards long that was just really, really tough. They have since dynamited that area out and cleaned it up a lot, and it is like a freeway, so it's not even fun to go through anymore. And before it was too hard to go through, so we used to bail. But the bailout trail is on the right, and this is now the 27th, and so I wanted to make sure I captured all this, because it's become its own little challenge. It's off the map, so it's not maintained, so it just continues to get beat up. Although, you know, it was interesting, the family enduro last year went down this, and so they obviously know it's there and they're watching it, but You know, it gets a little tough to get up there with all this weather and all the runoff and everything we've had. This little trail gets kind of flooded out. You can probably tell by listening to the engine, this is a pretty good climb out of here. We are definitely going uphill off the Flume, and we're climbing up and out of here. And it's fun and challenging, so I enjoy doing it. Yeah, this log kind of has been here all spring, and last week I tried to go to the left and go around it. That was a mistake. Going over it's a lot easier and quicker. There's not much of a runoff area when you hop over it, so you got, at least I had to jackknife the back and forth. So this is kind of a fork in the road. On the map, the trail kind of comes off of the fire road and then down to that point and then hangs a right and takes this trail. So this trail is on the map, the part, if I'd stayed straight, is also on the map, but the part below that is off the map. It's not actually a labeled trail, or a legal trail, I guess, but it's just a little loop to get you to the bottom of the fire road that kind of takes you to the 4-corner area or the 5-corner area, which is what we're going to pop up on here pretty quick. So this is the fire road, and that's about it. Hope you enjoyed watching this. It's a great area to ride. Just love it up there. So take care. We'll see you next time.